First off, this is not clickbait. I wish I could say it was clickbait. Second off, you know I never do a video, almost never, about one specific topic only. We always have what solds. Well, we don't have any what solds. This video, we don't have any Commonwealth comedy. We don't have Reagan in here, Blue Ridge Mama. This is something that actually has happened to my store, and it's a little bit concerning in multiple ways, and I want to talk about it, so run the intro and let's get to it. First off, because I know a lot of you are probably thinking, reading this title, looking back at this video right here, eBay is reviewing my account and holding my money, and thinking maybe it has something to do with that, and I don't think that it does. I really don't. However, it is possible. I'm going to let you decide. I'm going to talk about what's happened. I'm going to give a little context first. This video right behind me was an event where, if you guys have seen it, and there's 59,000 people have seen it, so most everybody who watches this channel has already seen it. You might want to go back and look at it, where I was sent a message that eBay was going to review my account. They gave me a list of things that might be the reason behind it, and then they shut the store down. They said for 5 days. I'd hear back within 5 days. It was over 7 days. I can't remember if it was 7 days and some hours or 8 days. I can't remember. And they finally paid me and never sent me a message, but everything was back up, ready to roll. So they never stopped me from selling anything at all during that hold period, that review period. They also never sent me a message about why it was happening at all. This event is kind of, well, it's very separate. I think it is anyways. I'm going to give a little bit of context here to give you the timeline of what's going on, and then I'm going to read you the message that I got and tell you exactly what happened. So last week we were graciously invited up, shout out Brian Klaus, to Philadelphia, me and my boy, to watch a Phillies-Angels game. And Brian put in a ton of time and effort and money into this event, where he had a bunch of people from the Trash to Cash Discord there. Thank you very much. It was a great event. And I decided I was going to put my store on vacation mode, on time away mode, which isn't something I always do when I'm only going to be gone for a few days. But in this case, I did, because Turner had tournaments this weekend when we got back. We had family coming in. My dad had injured his hand, and he does a lot around here as well. You know, he helps me with the packages, going to the post office and picks stuff up and brings it here. He even mows my grass. Shout out, Pop. Thanks for all the help. And I didn't want to pile on coming back and then having to ship a bunch of stuff out the next day. Plus, we had a holiday today, if you're watching this on Monday. So I decided I would just shut it down and I'd ship out on Tuesday. You know, turn the store back on and ship out on Tuesday. Well, I got a message from my wife, who does a lot of the listings for us as well. It was Wednesday, I think, Thursday, I can't remember. And she had sent me a message. I hadn't listed anything yet that day. And she had sent me a message and said, I can't list anything on eBay. They send me this message when I'm trying to list it. And I'm like, what in the world? And I was up at this event. I didn't want to be rude to anybody, but I had to look at this. As a matter of fact, I didn't mention it the whole time we were there. I just thought it was so gracious of Brian to put this whole thing together. And even though I was stressing out about it, I wasn't going to talk about it at all. I wanted to have a good time, and we did. But of course, I did look at the message, and I'm going to read it to you really quick. Commonwealth Picker, your account has been restricted because of activity on it did not follow our counterfeit item policy. We don't allow counterfeit items, replicas, or unauthorized copies. What activity didn't follow the policy? Item is in breach of counterfeit policy. And it goes on to say what you need to do next. Items removed for this policy cannot be relisted. Please ensure that your future listings, which is, when you read that, that gives you a little bit of peace, right, are for authentic items only. For these items, they should be described accurately and completely so buyers know that it is an authentic item. Now, I'm going to show you that item in just a second, and this is not something that hasn't happened to me before. It's been a very long time, but it has happened to me before. I've talked about it a couple times on the show. If you've been selling on eBay for a long time, it may have happened to you. I think the only time I ever received a restriction, it must have been it might have been a decade ago. I think I've talked about this, where I was selling, what was I selling? It wasn't a counterfeit policy. It was restricted item policy. It was one of those remade like hand grenades that somebody turned into one of those next up, you know, pull a ticket things, like, you know, if you're waiting in line, pull a number, and it was a grenade, right? And that's what got taken off. This was it may have been 12 years ago. It's been a long, long time. Matter of fact, I called up eBay and told them, I was like, I had no idea, I'm sorry, you know, whatever. And they're like, and they just lifted the restriction. So I don't know if they do that much anymore. Let me read this. Counterfeit products are illegal and not allowed on eBay. Examples include fakes, copies, or replicas of brand name items. For example, a shoe with the Nike name or logo that wasn't made by Nike. There you go. Electronics or accessories that use or bear the brand name, logo, or trademark of a company that didn't manufacture the item. Bootleg recordings from concerts, you know, unauthorized pirated copies. We kind of get all that. Listings with photos that hide or blur trademarks are not allowed. If you're not certain that your item is authentic, or that your authenticator has been unable to confirm its authenticity, it may not be listed. We may remove listings if we receive buyer complaints that the item is not authentic. There you go. These items may not be relisted. Now here's something that kind of gets me a little bit here. It says, because you haven't followed this policy in the past, I'm thinking to myself, my goodness. And that kind of reminded me of this video. Because if you remember on that video, I said that an item was taken down, but I never got a message. And it didn't get removed. It went to my unsolds, and I could not figure that out. And still to this day, I cannot figure this out. When something gets removed, it gets removed. It doesn't go to your unsolds. So because this has happened in the past, listings that don't follow this policy have been ended. A temporary 3-day selling restriction has been placed on your account. So you can't sell anything, can't list anything at all. Starting on the date of this notice, your other listings will be hidden from search during this period. So everything on my account was hidden. Save 2 items, actually, because I got messages from a few of you, and they're like, what happened to your store? And I didn't really respond to it because I didn't want it to get out before I had a word or two to say about it. Listings will automatically be restored and show up in the search results after the temporary restriction. Any fees paid or payable for listings that are ended and or hidden from the search will be refunded or otherwise credited to your account. Listings that do not follow this policy in the future will result in similar action, including a 7-day restriction on your account. So, first of all, and I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to talk about this item. But to me, I would like a little clarity on this. As far as, you know, what if you've been doing this for 20 some years, there are people report stuff and whatever. I've had things that I know are authentic because I bought them that they said weren't authentic. So, and I've had to go through a rigmarole and put stuff, you know, I've actually had some that I could put back up because of what I did, but I usually just don't even deal with it. So a minor complaint that I have here compared to one that I think is a major complaint is that I think there should be, like, over a period of time, and there may be, and I need to dig down into this, but, you know, it's been forever and a day since this has happened. So you're telling me if it happens 10 years from now, then you get a 7-day suspension, and then if it happens again 10 more years from now, then what, 30 days? And then again, I mean, you're selling on eBay for 50 years and something's come up 4 times and you're banished or something? I would hope that's not the case. Hey, I didn't think I'd have a homeschool hustler in this video, but he came in to tell me that Mama made me a steak. I'm excited about it. Did you have fun in Philadelphia?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
You want to say thank you publicly to Brian?
Hey, thank you, Brian.
All right, buddy. You don't have to say anything. I'll still give you $1, though.
No, you don't have to give me that. No.
I'll be up in a minute, bud.
Just don't give.
Okay. Here is the item at hand, and you'll notice that it has a Harley-Davidson patch. It's got this patch. Matter of fact, it's got a bunch of patches on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 patches on it. But it is not, see that, Highway Hawks? It is not a Harley vest. And you've seen me sell things before, like I sold a hat the other day that had all kinds of pins on it, right? And I'm always careful about the way I list those kind of things. And I've done this before. Matter of fact, I've done this with jackets that have tons of patches on them before. I did it with a beret, like a hat that had tons of patches on it before. And I did really, really well with it. And this one, I thought I could do the same. But when you read this policy, you could see that if somebody turned me in for it, which I highly suspect happened here, although I don't know. I mean, it could be algorithm stuff. You know, Harley is a brand that wants to protect itself, as opposed to maybe some of these other things that we've done this with before. And I think, I don't know, I don't even want to speculate. I am going to follow up on this. I'll talk about it in future videos. I am going to make some phone calls, going to send some emails and see if I can't get a little bit of clarity here. But I think if you read that the way that I just read it to you, you can see why this was taken down. But I do think it's interesting, and I'm going to tell you how I listed it, because I'm aware of this policy as well. I don't know why I thought this would be a video without any cats, without any kids. I don't even have any treats for you, bud. Let me read you the title that we used here for this one, and then I want to get into something that I think I have an issue with, especially having a YouTube channel, which we'll talk about that here in just a second, and maybe some steps I'm going to take in the future, maybe to secure my business a little bit. All right, here we go. This is, so I've listed what the patches are: support our troops, Harley Davidson patch, USA patches. I've put the patches that are on it, and then I say that they're on a leather vest, size XL, and then I talk about that in the description. So I didn't say this was a Harley vest at all, but it is on, it's a Harley patch on a vest that is, I think, I haven't even looked, but we probably put the brand of that vest, which is an off-brand. I don't know if we put that in the description or not, but we definitely said on a black leather vest. Because let's just face it here, I'm not trying to sell this as a Harley vest. As a matter of fact, if I would have sold this separate than the vest, I'd have been fine. And my guess is if I would have sold this, if it didn't have this patch on it, and we sold it, there's nothing else. I mean, you know, who's going to sue you here, right? I don't think there'd be an issue at all. So there are two issues that I do have. And, you know, they've supposedly, I haven't even looked here, it should be up and running pretty well. I'll tell you what, by the time you see this on Monday here, it'll definitely be back up and running. If it isn't, then we have a problem. But I'm pretty sure it will, because I've gone through this experience quite a long time ago. The issue that I have is it's not even the fact that all my listings were hidden, because, I mean, they're trying to be punitive, right? They're trying to protect themselves. I get that. Here's the problem that I have. The problem that I have is with one of these last statements. We may remove listings if we receive buyer complaints that the item is not authentic. These items may not be relisted. And I guess I get that to a small degree, but what is to stop somebody from something that you did, you know, some transaction that they didn't like and they left negative feedback, but that's not enough. So they start reporting items and they start claiming things that just aren't true. Then I think we have a serious issue. I don't think that's the case here, but you know what? It's very possible that somebody could go on and sabotage anybody's account out there. If you send something out that they didn't like, that they thought was something else, I don't think that that's happened here necessarily, but it certainly could be an issue. And eBay is very, very quick to deal with this stuff and just push it to the side, even if they know, or you can provide proof that something is authentic. And that has happened to me before on multiple occasions, and I suspect it's probably happened a few other times as well. So that's it. The second thing is, all of these messages that come across, they all, you know, do not reply to this message. They don't want to deal with it. They want to actively not deal with it. In other words, they don't want to put any resources into protecting buyers at all. I mean, if you're going to just any, you know, they don't say anybody, but if they're just going to say, hey, this person said this is inauthentic, well, you know, that's Amazon kind of stuff, right? Competing, that competition that's on Amazon, if you know some of those stories, and how you can drop the buy box and how you can get stuff and wipe somebody out, and all those games that competitors play. You know, what if somebody is selling, you know, Harley patches or Harley vests or something, and they're coming on and doing that, right? Well, it might even be legitimate in this case, but what if it's not legitimate? What if you're the one seller who's selling, you know, I don't know, Coach bags, and you want to wipe out your competition, so you just report everybody? That can't possibly be the case, and I hope that's not the case. But again, communication, being able to talk to somebody, replying to a specific email, having a team of people dealing with this stuff, I know it's costly. I know that's the reason they don't do it. But at some point, they need to protect sellers against this. This is ridiculous to me, to be perfectly honest with you. This, on the other hand, you know, I can see it, and I'm not complaining too much here. But I do think that we need to figure out a way, I don't know exactly how, to protect ourselves as sellers, because, you know, this took away 3 days worth of sales, which isn't the end of the world for me. But, you know, if it's 7 days next, if it's 30 days, then you start to have issues. So it really makes me rethink what I talked about last time with List Perfectly. That's exactly what my wife went on and did. She started to go on there and cross-post instead. So if they don't deal with this kind of stuff, it will cost them money. 90% of my sales come through eBay. I would bet you, but because of these two events right here, that by next year at this time, it'll be closer to 60% or 70% maybe, but it's more than likely not going to be 90%. So let me know out there if this has happened to you. Let me know if you think it happened fairly, which you can make an argument for here, or let me know if you think it happened in a completely unfair manner down in the comments below, and maybe even what are your plans going forward, especially if you're a full-time reseller out there and all your income, if you list just on eBay, is in one place. Let me know if you're taking any, you know, we talk about List Perfectly, code Commonwealth, 30% off. I had to do it. But is there anything out there that you're doing actively to, other than maybe, hey, this is a lesson learned, right? This is something, if you have a vest with all kinds of patches on it, which you come across often in the motorcycle world, by the way. Matter of fact, I went to a sale just yesterday and they had a Harley jacket, or it wasn't a Harley jacket. They had a leather jacket with all kinds of Harley patches all over it. And I would have picked that up in a minute in the past. I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to leave it there. Now, we did make one immediate decision, and that is in the short term, not necessarily in the long term, but to make up for the lost revenue from the time away compounded by the 3-day restriction, we decided we're going to add one more whatnot to our 6 for the summer. We've already done, what have we done, 4? And we have one on the 6th. We're giving away 7 different things over there. And of course, I think we'll add one in there maybe a week after that, the 13th or something like that, and try to move a bunch of inventory, because I've been buying like crazy, and we just had a week where nothing exited this place, which is crazy. And we're going to be back up into normal, I hope, here. And you're going to see the next video probably be pretty normal, I hope. Cross my fingers. I hope this stuff doesn't keep happening. I feel like I'm not doing anything malicious or wrong here. And, you know I'm not. But, you know, this is something I'll definitely... Maybe we'll put this in the whatnot auction. I'll tell you what, we might put that other item from the other one in there. We might do one giveaway, or we might auction it off for fun. This is what got me restricted on eBay. We'll put that out there. But we're going to do it on the 6th. Go check us out over there. Bookmark that show. There's a link below. But September 30th, you can get 15 free bucks, by the way. But September 30th, we're doing the St. Jude whatnot auction. All for charity, and we had 2 people. This is from Shad Juice, who is one of my favorite folks to watch. He doesn't do YouTube videos hardly ever anymore, but he sent us this Nintendo GameCube Zelda, and this is going up on the St. Jude auction on September 30th. So Mike, thank you so much. You're awesome. It is really cool and very generous of you to do that. We'll post that over there. Go bookmark that show if you're interested. We've got plenty of items. Thank you for everybody who sent stuff. But at this point, we're overloaded. I can't even get everything on that thing because we're under some time constraints up there at the reseller rally. We'll have tons of guests on there. But this came in as well. And this is, I don't know if there's anything on there. It's at Thrifty Golf DMV. I think that's his Instagram. Yep, that's Instagram right there. And he sent this, he told me I could keep one of these. And he sent that Scotty Cameron hat. And we're going to put that on there as well. And give it, oh, not give it away. We're going to auction it off for St. Jude charity. Check out that one right there. Whistling Straits 2004 new old stock. He does a great little whatnot. He sells on eBay as well. And Mercari. There you go. See, there you go. 3 different platforms. Total side note here, but it was Shad Juice that told me about these right here to give better light, and it finally died on me. I had to put one of those up. I really love those things. It gives off way more light than those, and it's a brighter light. So come over and check out that St. Jude auction from the Reseller Rally. September 30th, 1:30. Go over there and bookmark it. If you've never tried out Whatnot, if you hate Whatnot, at least come over there and check that one out. All the proceeds are going to St. Jude. I'm super excited about it. We've been putting a ton of work into it, and we hope it's going to be a big event where we can write a giant check to St. Jude at the end of it. There's all kinds of crazy, awesome items over there. But I think we are going to add one more Whatnot, and I think I'm going to diversify even more. I'm even going to consider this winter starting on Etsy. So tell me out there if I should start on Etsy or not. I hear a lot of great things and a lot of terrible things about Etsy. We're, of course, doing Mercari and Depot. We did make the store turn back on, or the other stores turned back on, I should say, and there were some sales out of there, some cross-listing sales, but nothing near the volume that you would see out of eBay. But I am thankful we started using List Perfectly for sure, and we're going to have to ramp it up this winter. It's so hard right now to do that, but we have slowly but surely been doing it. Only about 1 out of every 7 of our items in here that's listed on eBay is also listed on Mercari and Poshmark as well, and we're considering adding another one on top of that. And maybe, I don't know. I don't think at this point we're going to do too much in the Whatnot marketplace where you can sell things not being live. But if that thing picks up, we might consider that too. And tell me all the platforms out there that you're selling on. Matter of fact, if you sell on multiple platforms, rank them for sales. A lot of people are telling me Poshmark is doing really well right now, and I had a few people say Mercari has really bumped up, but most people say that, you know, eBay is still king. And that's the case for us as well. So at any rate, sorry about this video being very different. I just like to be transparent. I had a lot of people send me messages why stuff wasn't up, and I wanted to tell you exactly what had occurred to hopefully keep you from doing that in the future, but still address some of the issues I think eBay probably needs to deal with. So let me know in the comments below, and I can't wait to see you next.